In episode 6 of Shane Dawson's Beautiful World series with Jeffree Star, we are finally treated to the Conspiracy Collection reveal. Although to be honest, after 5 hours of watching Jeffree's team design this collaboration, I really don't think there's any actual makeup that we haven't seen yet. Aside from the main palette's plastic component, that'd be like if they tried to surprise me with the sandwich I just ordered at Subway by unwrapping it for me at the register and revealing the condiments on it. Like, I just stood here and watched you make that, mama, and it took forever. Why don't you reveal some DNA tests that prove whether or not your tuna salad is made from mechanically separated mermaid parts? And that is the level of shock and betrayal that I felt while watching this episode of Shane's Jeffree Star Cosmetics reveal. Not only because we had already seen so many of the individual aspects separately, but also because I realized this is not the final episode I'm going to be reviewing, like I originally thought. They say the journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. But what they don't tell you is that sometimes the finish line keeps moving and you're wearing live active hornet's nests on your feet, crawling through the sand with blood poisoning. How is this an intro for a video? Anyway, this episode, which could have easily been combined with the previous two, is also notable for its lengthy periods of incoherent babbling. Jeffree thinking that the universe hates him because his dog won't live forever, and Shane's highly memorable campaign photo shoot look as a bank teller in the Haunted Mansion. Let's examine a spooky deposit in this not yet final Shane Dawson installment of Clip Breakdown. Hello television viewers, my name is Nick. Thank you so much for joining me once again on my channel for another installment of Clip Breakdown. This is the playlist where we dive into our favorite movies, TV movies, and other content on the web. And we break it down into fun travel-sized little clips that we can look at and say, that belongs in my beauty collection, and that is not going in my makeup wardrobe. And today we are going through episode 6, the Shane Dawson Conspiracy Collection reveal. But before we can even get into it, I would love it if you could give this video a big thumbs up to let me know that you're excited for episode 7 to wrap this going up, or if you want to see other Shane Dawson content. But most importantly, if you're new here, I would love to have you click that subscribe button to make sure you never miss my 2 new videos every week. Also, I've got merch and a Patreon for extra stuff. The episode that includes the Conspiracy Collection reveal begins with Jeffree and Shane both deciding what they're going to do in the video for the Conspiracy Collection reveal. If that sounds interesting or meta, I promise it's not.
Everyone's following this journey. So no one's ever like seen sneak peeks before a product's been, you know what I mean? So I don't know how much of things you guys are showing of like the packaging of the colors, or is anything black and white? Or are they seeing like everything forever? Like, I guess I don't know how it's gonna go.
Shane is like, right, yep. Me either. But I'll probably edit it in a way that is so disorienting that by the time this thing rolls out, people will have to buy it just so they can get a good look without motion sickness. I have completely lost track of which makeup shades have been revealed so far, and how many are still a mystery, to the point where it's become obvious that Shane could have simply chosen 20 different shades from his largest thigh bruise, and his fans still would have crashed the website servers clamoring to buy it. I feel like this clip here really revealed to me that Jeffree is like, so I'm just trying to get your thoughts on how you plan to reveal it. Like, will the earlier episodes have the colors, or will it be in black and white? And I just have a sense from Shane's responses that he hadn't thought about really the post-production aspect of it yet. I could be wrong, but I mean, normally a director of a documentary would be like kind of have an idea of how they're editing it before they go into shooting it, or they're editing in their head as they shoot it to some extent, maybe not always. In either case, I don't fully trust that Shane was doing this throughout the production process based A, on how disorienting and disorganized the final product is, and B, how preoccupied Shane was with the surprise, shock, and awe of every little thing that happened to him throughout this process. Could he really be planning his post-production when he enters every single room like Annie when she goes to Daddy Warbucks' house? Every 2 minutes it's like, what? You've got a swimming pool in your own house? Shane doesn't seem fully prepared to explain to Jeffree, in any case, what it's gonna look like, or it's not shown on screen, him being like, oh, don't worry, we're not gonna reveal any colors until episode 3, and even then we're only gonna reveal 5 shades and let them know the other 15 are coming or whatever. As Jeffree Star, the business owner, I would probably wanna know that kind of information, because as he says, normally he just shows black and white previews until the official reveal when they see all of the colors for the first time. Shane, however, has been tossing out shade names and color swatches. Some were approved, some were not. I understand that at the time it didn't matter because this product was going to sell out based on the hype from his fans alone. But looking back on it, after that sort of temperature has cooled off drastically, I can see it as just kind of a flawed marketing strategy. But I really think it was just because of the celebrity factor. Listen to me having no voice just starting this video. That's great. This is a good sign. So the whole crew, like literally the whole shipping department, is getting ready, gearing up to ship out Shane's launch. So they're having a meeting to kind of bring him up to speed on that.
The product that we're planning on launching is about 10 times what we normally would do. That changes. Please turn off your radios. I just want to quick run down our plan for shipping.
If that employee can't have his radio on, then Shane shouldn't be allowed to interrupt with his exhaustingly nervous sense of humor. Between Shane and Jeffree, half of these people's job is just to stay alert enough to contribute tepid laughter at the right points during every meeting. They're all like, ah, ah, oh, that last part was just his coffee order. I thought I saw him make that awful face he uses to signal that he's trying to be funny. This is just where I personally am not able to really find Shane a totally likable subject for a documentary, because I personally appreciate someone with professional maturity. In fact, even Jeffree Star, when he's like talking about his business, he goes into periods where you're like, okay, he seems to know what he's talking about. Like, he'll talk about components and purchase orders, and you know, he'll throw out the lingo that makes you be like, he really likes running businesses. Shane tends to go with this humor that kind of feels like it's from a 7th grade MySpace vlogger, where everything is just about calling attention to awkward situations or acting like you're surprised or shocked by something that just happened IRL, like, I can't believe that just happened. And when he's not doing that, then he's basically pretending to be an actual newborn baby by not understanding pretty basic concepts.
How do we know,
Okay.
how do we know, like, people, okay, how do we know that we're gonna sell them? Like, I feel like people are excited and everything, but like, how do we know, do you know what I mean?
If I'm understanding correctly, you need someone here to reaffirm how famous you are in front of this room full of people. Is that right? By this point, Shane was aware that his merch collection sold out within 1 day, and any news about this collaboration gets more social media attention than other makeup brands could even dream of. But none of that evidence is enough for Shane Dawson. Somehow he still needs the psychic twins to communicate with the ghost of JonBenet Ramsey again, so she can tell him this just might sell out. I would appreciate all of this so much more if Shane was able to just like sit through the meeting, ask his questions, you know, like let us know you're learning this stuff, but I don't know, don't try to be cute about it. It's not cute. Or also if he maybe filtered some of his thoughts and then gave them to the camera later, like if he was sitting in that meeting and he was looking around and greeting everybody, and then in a talking head he were to be like, when I first walked into that room I was shocked with the amount of people. I felt so overwhelmed and, you know, had imposter syndrome. At least then within the piece of content, I feel like I would be hearing him have his own retrospective on the behavior that we're seeing on screen. Again, I mean, maybe that's just a matter of preference of how I would handle a documentary like this, or more accurately, handle myself in a meeting. But at this point, I've also realized that it comes down to, do I want to watch a documentary on this person? Have you made me interested enough in this person to care? And with Jeffree Star, I felt like anything about Jeffree Star being on screen, there's a story, there's something interesting, there's drama. And then Shane is just acting like he chases butterflies all day and the world is mean to him. The only way it's relatable is he kind of reminds me of the periods of my life when I didn't really like who I was. So maybe there's value in that for some people. Like, here's him when they find out they just sold $500,000 worth of merch in 1 day.
That's what's going on.
Wait, what? I didn't I'm like crying, freaking out.
We made a graphic for like in a few minutes. Hi.
Oh.
Whoa, why was that the fake weeping of somebody who's trying to get away with having just killed their wife? You know on Dateline when they play the husband's 911 call and he's like, I don't know what happened, I just woke up and this happened. Oh really? Because it seems like you do a lot of rifle shooting in your sleep, Mr. Johnson. That's what like fake crying sounds like to me. It just is like, ooh, it's not convincing. And I get that at these moments, Shane could actually be feeling very emotional or even misty-eyed. I'm not trying to, you know, say he is or is not feeling a certain way, but when it feels like the person crying is trying to lean too far into it and they start rubbing away at tears that aren't there, it starts to feel a little, what's the word for when something gets crammed in there even when it barely fits? Oh yeah, it starts to get a little in the ass. Oh my god. Like, to me, putting your hand in front of your eye to rub away a dry eye and turning away from the camera as though you don't want to be seen is a number one sign that you're trying to give the impression of crying without actually crying. But again, I'm not a psychologist. I just claim to be one every chance I get. As usual, there are moments peppered throughout that I find somewhat interesting. For example, they show us the process of designing the tissue paper and presenting to Shane what each of the products will look like wrapped up when they are delivered to the customer. These are the kind of details that I think customers don't often think about when they buy or unbox a product, and it helps them realize, oh, that's where some of the added value comes from, and these are the parts of the product that I should really enjoy and the details I should take note of. So I like that. I feel like, again, that's valuable content, but it's in the sea of hot. Tell you one thing that's not lost on me, how distracting the camera work continues to be. Sorry about it.
Oh, I didn't even notice that. I didn't know what you were laughing at.
That's interesting, Andrew, because I never know what you're laughing at either. But most of the time, I don't care and would rather you didn't. And let me be clear, I don't mean to imply that I dislike the sound of Andrew's laughter in particular. In fact, I love it. The only kind of laughter that I can't stand is from little kids or babies, but that's because I'm a direct descendant of one of the three witches from Hamlet. The one on the right, although I did find out she's only responsible for some of the warts on my body. The moment I've been waiting for, pretty much that they've been showing us flashes of throughout, is when they're actually on set shooting the campaign photos and the campaign video. Jeffrey hires a director named Marcello who is very detail-oriented, and he directs the video as well as the photo shoot. So he presents the storyline of the campaign and the storyboards, and I'm like really intrigued by all of this. But the only way I would actually have been able to enjoy it at the time of its release, as someone who was not going to watch 6 hours of Shane Dawson content, I used to be such a smart person, but now I am on YouTube instead. Ooh, Tide Pod up my Like if this product had been released and it was like, you know, a more conventional launch schedule where it's like 5-minute video revealing the products, then a 10-minute behind the scenes thing, and then, you know, Marcello here gets to describe his whole campaign, and we get to linger with Shane and Jeffrey on set and get interviews of them when they're behind the scenes. That would be so much more satisfying to me than like whatever this is, which is disjointed flashes of, you know, the set being built and Shane coming out of in his costume, things like that. But I feel like, you know, other behind the scenes content, I get the sense that I'm actually there backstage feeling the excitement of the production. This doesn't give me that. It gives me like, we're Shane glossing over every detail that mattered to me. I find that the scope of this documentary is so narrow and conceited that it makes them seem really out of touch. I feel like expanding this topic to talk to other people in beauty would have really helped make this feel like it wasn't so just focused on two people with tons of privilege. In fact, more than 30 million Americans live in areas where water systems failed or violated safety regulations at the beginning of last year. Like, I'm realizing now a privilege my whole life living in areas of America where I could safely drink the water that's coming out of the faucet. But that's not the case for many Americans, especially lower income Americans or people who aren't white like me. I've talked about the infrastructure bill on this channel in the past, which thankfully, now that passed, seeks to deliver clean water to up to 10 million American families and more than 400,000 schools, child care facilities, including Native American land and lower income communities. Clean water should be an equal right that all of us get. And if we want to continue making progress on issues like this, we also need to make sure all of our votes are counted. In the last decade, gerrymandering has gotten out of control, which is when political parties try to redraw electoral areas so that it's in favor of their party winning. With the release of the 2020 census, states are redrawing their legislative districts, and we need to keep the pressure on all of our state governments to do that in a way that we can see what they're doing and making sure they're doing it fairly, based on fair geographic definitions and not, based on partisan politics. Because obviously, if a politician can draw a circle around conservative crazy town and say, I'm running for mayor of there, and my platform is vanilla pudding and repressed sexuality, then obviously he's gonna win the election there. It's not the same, and it's not the America that I signed the Constitution on. So I take back my feathery quill pen drawing and the little star sticker that I put at over the eye in my name.
I wanted to, make it more cinematic because it's like, I think, one of the biggest things ever in makeup.
My vote is for when they discovered lead-based powders were eating people's faces off. That to me feels like a more revolutionary moment in makeup. But yes, I'm sorry. I'm sure you're making a very cool commercial for these otherwise standard colored cosmetics. I'm, again, really into this photographer because he took Shane's idea and brand and concept and really elevated it to something that feels, worth the $52, I guess.
Now that I know that you like this vibe, I just wasn't sure if you wanted like pigs and you like on top of it like with bacon. Like I didn't know what, like I didn't.
That photographer's like, at first when I met you, I was like, I don't know what he wants. Maybe he wants to have like ham hanging out of his mouth while he crawls through the dirt. Maybe he's at a large animal veterinarian being dewormed. What do pigs do? Like, girl, I don't know. We go to a meeting with Anna where she presents the final presentation. I'm repeating words a lot. I think I recall feeling excitement at this reveal, at least a little spark of something like, oh my god, light at the end of the tunnel. But I really am truly feeling fatigued.
Oh my god.
Yay, these colors are going to be perfect for when I go to clown school. 3 cheers for the piss, blood, and bruise. That is not the color story I was hoping to see at the end of all of this, but I'm a little more elegant. So Shane shows up, he's getting a tour of the set. Again, we're jumping to like the beginning of the shooting day and then back to the month earlier planning stages. So I'm like, I hate the time jump, but we already know that. Jeffrey drops some news that kind of threatens the peace and zen harmony of this video shoot.
It's about my family and my dogs.
No, what?
I have Daddy in the emergency room right now. If you weren't here and all of this great magic wasn't here, I would have canceled today. It's just like, how many curveballs are we gonna be thrown?
That depends. How many more elderly, purebred dogs do you own again? Like 6? Because I'm pretty sure after a certain number of years, some dogs just start to anamorph into sentient tumors. I don't mean for that to sound cruel. I love dogs, and I've been heartbroken anytime I've lost one. And for that reason, this unexpected dog illness feels like one of the most unplanned, real moments in the entire series. It reminded me of when I had to go work a shift at Dunkin' Donuts after we put my dog to sleep one summer. Have you ever had someone shed a tear while they hand you your coffee culotta? You're not gonna give them a tip. But anyway, they go on with the shoot because the dog, Daddy, is, testing better in the emergency room, doing okay. But Jeffrey feels that this plays into a pattern where something negative happens on the verge of every exciting launch he's about to have with his business.
To build up to not fully be able to enjoy another launch. I just want to enjoy a launch. The Alien palette happened. It was like my biggest launch to date that night. The fires, your house might...
We've seen tons of celebrities posting on social media about their homes being in the path of the fire.
Flying home, meeting to be canceled. I'm just like, I just want to enjoy lunch.
Aw, well, can you at least enjoy the millions of dollars you make after the launch? Please, for me, Jeffrey. Again, it's not that I don't sympathize with these difficult life events, but I guess it's kind of hard to appreciate the victim narrative that Jeffrey spins from within his golden palace of pinball machines. I'm sorry that you couldn't enjoy a launch for all of 2019, but I'm willing to bet that a lot of people were unable to enjoy any part of their job for any day for the rest of their lives. And many of them are still going to be be living in poverty. So it's work. You don't always get to enjoy it. Sometimes your dog is sick. Not everyone has it as easy that they could even put their dog in an emergency room. Shane and Sean, whatever, Andrew here are both trying to force in this like sense of completion as we end round out the series.
It's crazy how full circle of a moment this is. Let me try to get the right framing of this. See, Jeffrey was right there. You were right there. Rylan and Garrett were right there.
Wait, is this something that happened within this series or the previous one about Jeffree Stars? Either way, that's not a full circle, mama. If it were, you wouldn't have to explain it to us. I don't quite know what shape the storyline of this series would look like. Maybe the EKG of a small dog's heart failing? That seems appropriate. Not appropriate for me to say, but I already did that. Another thing that I really wanted to see was them taking these beautiful lip swatches that are featured on makeup websites, so I'm glad we did get the tiniest little second painting those beautiful lips.
Whoa.
Oh my god. Seeing the shades on are so. Oh, look at Shane.
You have, this is gonna sound weird, but you have like really nice lips.
It actually doesn't sound that weird because you're speaking to the model who was hired for having nice lips. What sounds weird to me is when people say they think Shane Dawson is funny, when he mostly just busts out in disruptive, mischievous laughter after saying something completely banal. And I need none of us to bust out in disruptive, mischievous laughter when Shane walks out in his outfit.
Holy
I kind of like it when you have a bit color with your hair.
Oh really? You like that slick down pixie cut with the Helen Mirren root? Also, are those the shoes that Neil Armstrong wore on the moon? Because those look like one small step for man and two giant feet for mankind. I think for me, it's the tight shoulders around this trench coat that's weirding me out.
Why are you like sick?
Wow. Okay, so what business are you buying?
I think he's buying the Victorian Gothic nail salon that Helena Bonham Carter works at in a Tim Burton movie. I am not a fashion expert by any means, but I do feel like several people lied to Shane at several points throughout the assembly of this look. They said, and then we're gonna give you a gray stripe in your hair because our inspiration is Pepe Le Pew gets his stimulus check. Now they show Anna finally impress them with the outer package of the main conspiracy palette, and everyone's happy with it. It looks like a, flat-topped pyramid. It's bulky. It looks worth the money. La-ba-dee-doo-doo.
This is it. Oh my god. This is it!
Oh my god.
It's beautiful and practical. After I use up all that eyeshadow, I can put it in my car to block my wheels if I park on a hill. I can't believe Kat Von D didn't make a video being like, dude, Shane and Jeffree's palette plagiarized the design of the sarcophagus that I sleep in. Anyway, I'm so over the packaging. I'm so over all of this. I am excited for the next episode because I happen to know it's the one where Shane yells at Shopify, and I haven't seen Shane lose his temper in a minute, so I'm happy about it.
Yeah, this is literally all yours. Oh, I love it.
That guy just mentally told Andrew to get the camera off of him. I think that might have been the camera operator's first sub-dom experience. I take it back. I feel like I'm getting plenty of this photo shoot. When you catch Uncle Fester getting into drag. So it does go into Shane reviewing the photos and Jeffree approving the final edits. They're really racing towards the launch here.
I feel like yesterday we were flying to Sacramento.
Yeah. Oh my god, yeah. That was crazy.
I look like the Joker.
Well, it's probably smart that you were the one to say it before the online commenters did. I think they were sort of in the middle of a conversation there. Shane said, why are those women talking in my makeup documentary? I'm gonna walk up and scream something! Since women are so often the innovators and drivers of the beauty industry and yet are so underrepresented at the corporate level, I can't say that I love how cis male focused this entire series is. As you'll notice, all the women seem to be relegated to supporting characters in this documentary, who are on screen either to show their work for approval, offer their perspective as a woman who will buy the makeup, and laugh at Shane and Jeffree's jokes at least a little louder than they would be if they weren't getting paid. No judgment. Get that check. I just wish Shane would also give a voice to the women in this documentary, especially since it's an industry where the largest consumer demographics, such as women or people of color, are so often neglected by corporations. Shane invents a final silver color, and that's supposed to be a big reveal for this episode, but who cares? I don't.
Oh Oh my god.
We see you hiding in there, Cosmo and Wanda. I don't know what I expected to feel when I first saw this palette's color range altogether, but this is giving me Slime Time Live and Dusty Forest Floor. But again, who cares? Because Shane and Jeffrey's fans would probably have bought this even if it were just an ice tray spread full of ground up worms. In fact, I need that product because I could use it to lure away those crows that have taken over my car. There's this really long period where Shane shows a bunch of his friends what's going on with the palette. Rylan tries on his lipstick shade at one point and it looks terrible on him. It's like a concealer for his skin. But I guess technically the product has been revealed because we've seen all the colors now. So they end on a happy note for us.
No, that's not me. I'll never be prom queen.
Jeffrey's like, and once you and I pass on, they will also shrink wrap our bodies to cardboard in a cross formation so we can watch over my hot, musty Valley Warehouse kingdom for all of until sales dip so low that they have to sell the company to China. And that's the end of this episode. Sweet mommy, sweet mommy. That's not me. I'll never be prom queen. Honestly, I'm frustrated that I have to watch a whole hour and 20 long minute episode called The Beautiful World of Shane Dawson. What is with this title convention? I don't know what episode is what number. Just put episode 1 through 8 on there so I know what order to watch these in. Every goddamn installment is like the dark side of the business world, the beautiful side of the dark world, the mysterious world of Jeffrey's hole. I don't know what you're saying. So now I have to do one more of these episodes because I really want to see the post-launch drama where basically all of the servers crashed. Shopify could not handle the impressive amount of traffic that these two drove towards the product pages. So we'll definitely be doing that next. But let me know what else you'd like to see and give this video a big thumbs up if you want to see other Shane Dawson reviews. But most importantly, don't forget to click that subscribe button right over here. That way you never miss new videos from me. Turn on notifications because I upload 2 new ones every week. Also, I've got merch available and a Patreon where you can access bonus episodes and virtual watch parties. All exclusive, mommy. You guys are all the greatest. Thank you for That's Not Me. I'll never be prom king with you today. Oof, rough. I will see you next time.